Hey, it's Mazzy, and welcome to Lakeside Chat number 4, right adjacent to the great Lake Washington in Seattle, Washington. I decided for this episode to pick 5 records that came out 50 years ago. Now, I'm recording this and releasing this in May of 2025, so that means these records were essentially released around May. Now, don't bust my balls if one was released earlier than or later. There was one that was started recorded in May, but was released sometime later in the year, and that's the final record in this. And you get these wankers here driving and starting their engines, revving their engines as I record this. Don't they understand this is nature? And Mazzy's recording a video, a Lakeside Chat. It should be serene, quiet. Turn your fucking radio down. Close your windows. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm opening up with probably the number 1 record that you should get from Willie Nelson if you have no Willie Nelson. Now, Willie Nelson has made 3,426 albums. He makes more records than Stephen King writes books. And of course, that is Redheaded Stranger on Columbia. This is his debut for Columbia. And what's really interesting about this, a couple things. The record before this, it was his record that was it on RCA, I think, and that was Phases and Stages. I love that record. And both that and this are somewhat conceptual. They tell a story. He gets signed to this major deal at Columbia, and fortunately, his manager, this is where managers come in. Whoever negotiated that deal got him like final cut, essentially like a director getting final cut. And so he was able to deliver this record as is, and Columbia had to release it as is. And there was a little skepticism by, I think it was it Bruce Lunville? Who ran Columbia back then? I don't remember. But they thought this was almost like demos and lo-fi and what we now call like the Unplugged series. It's a very low-key record, and it's about a man who shoots his wife and her lover. And it's a beautifully recorded record. And he was right. This is probably his most famous record. I assume it's his biggest selling record. I don't know that. So don't, again, bust my balls. I mean, I don't want any ball busting after this video, okay? Just enjoy the music. Now, I do like Phases and Stages as well, probably equally as Redheaded Stranger. And they have a little different vibe to it, but it's got that beautiful tenor of a voice. His guitar playing trigger, the guitar with the hole in it that he's been playing to since this time. I probably saw him in 75 or 76 was the first time I saw him at the Circle Star Theater in Redwood City, south of San Francisco. A theater in the round, rotating stage. Has that harmonica player, I'm blanking on his name, who's been with him for many years. Story and illustration. Now, all these records except the final one are my original copies from 50 years ago. So, this thing about people babying their records so much. You got to put them in sleeves. You gotta clean them. Okay, now up until 3 years ago, I didn't wash records. I didn't clean records. Sue me. And up until I moved to Seattle, as I'm cataloging my records, I'm only still at the R's in the main section. I didn't put them in outer plastic sleeves, and only so a segment of my records are in outer plastic sleeves. But look how beautiful this is, even with the whiteness of the cover. So if you take care of your records, you don't need to do all this babying crap, okay? Anyway, 1975, a 50-year-old record, my original copy. Now, this is the third, I think the third, if you don't count Everybody's in Showbiz, of the theatrical series of the Kinks. There are people that, if you like the Pie, the Reprise years, those early years of the Kinks, the 60s era, which is probably the best, definitely. Then there's another generation that seems to like the stadium things, the Arista, and then MCA stuff from Misfits, Sleepwalker on. And I like that stuff too, but I have a soft spot in my heart from the theatrical. And this is from 1975 as well. This was a TV show as well. I never saw it. It was broadcast, I guess, by the BBC. I think this is a fantastic song. Sure, it's a bit of a music hall kitschy thing, but Ducks on the Wall, what a rocker that is. Ordinary People's a beautiful song. Rush Hour Blues, more upbeat rockin'. Have Another Drink, 9 to 5. It's got great hooks, and Ray Davis's songwriting, and of course Dave's great guitar playing. Underneath the Neon Sign. Now, one of my favorite songs here, he sings with the other vocalist, Laurie Brown, on here, I believe, who sings with him, who plays the other main character. Or is it June Ritchie? I'm sorry, June Ritchie plays Norman's wife. The character in this is Norman, the star maker, makes this dull, mundane, suburban man a star, and that's where it comes, soap opera, featuring Norman, the star maker. So, of course, I have a partial love for this record, but that song with June Ritchie and Ray singing, You Make It All Worthwhile, and the women come in on the chorus, is one of Ray's most beautifully conceived songs, in my opinion. You Can't Stop the Music's a great rocker, too. Great guitar playing. This period of Dave Davis, well, he calls himself Davies, Ray says Davis. I'm not going to argue with you, because every time I say this, someone comments and busts my balls. A lot of ball busting, I'm sorry. But this is the album, my original copy, RCA Records. You know, there's no love, not as much love for the theatrical period. Now, this is a major record. Now, I'm all in on Elton John up until Blue Moves, and after, it's hit and miss. But those 70s albums, or from 69, Empty Sky, to the self-titled with Your Song and 60 Years On, that entire series, one of the most brilliant runs of records by any artist. And this is the 1970s. But this was a massive hit, cut beautifully produced by Gus Dudgeon. And what's amazing about this, one of my favorite segments of this song about his attempted suicide, accidental or not, Someone Saved My Life Tonight. The wonderful lyrics of Elton and Bernie Taupin, and the production by Gus Dudgeon. But when Nigel Olsson kicks in on those drums in that period, it's like it slams it. It is so amazing, and I just think this is a beautiful record. Obviously, the opening, Brown Dirt Cowboy, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. It's definitely commercial, but it's a commercial in the best sense of everything. So this is wonderful. Obviously has the book inside and the band. I like how Bernie gets his due in all these records here. So I think it's a wonderful collection. Next in 1975, Venus and Mars, Paul McCartney and Wings. So the follow-up to Band on the Run. Sometimes I like this one better. I still can't take Mamunia on Band on the Run. Band on the Run's the big breakout as a trio when the band left and they go to Nigeria, I guess? Where do they go? In South Africa, Nairobi. I used to know all this, I'm sorry. But I love this great, again, Don't Bust These Balls. This is a Hypnosis cover. Hypnosis did this series of records. 1975 again, came out in May. This is the year before the Wings Over America tour, where they did songs from this album, including Rock Show, Venus and Mars and Rock Show, Magneto and Titanium Man. Of course, I wasn't a big Marvel or DC, or Marvel, I guess it would be, comic book guy, so I didn't know those characters. Of course, now we all know the Avengers. Oh, that's DC, excuse me. See, I'm so ignorant. Medicine Jar, obviously, that's the song that little Jimmy McCullough sings, who unfortunately died. But this is a good record, and I like this record better than Band on the Run. And of course, you gave me the answer. McCartney always has to have his music hall song. That's on here too, but it's beautiful. Not one clunker on this. McCartney produced it. This is when Joe English played drums, and of course, the rest is history. It came with stickers, posters, all the goodies you'd expect in a 1970s, mid-1970s record. Don't park really close to me. I'm kind of never mind. Lastly, Betty Davis. Betty Davis, Betty Davis, Betty Davis. This is Nasty Girl. Now, this is a record that I didn't initially have. This is the only reissue. This is the Light in the Attic reissue. This came out on Island Records. It was her third record. This is one kick-ass, funky, get down and dirty record. And Island apparently didn't know how to market it or sell it, or it's just one of those things that it didn't click with audiences. And think about this. This is the time Rufus with Chaka Khan. It's got a little bit of that vibe, only it's getting dirtier and intense. It's more, takes more from the Parliament Funkadelic thing, James Brown, Bootsy Collins. She puts together this band called Funk House, and it's finally her own band, not a bunch of studio musicians, but unfortunately it bombs. Now, in my record days in '75, there was a guy that used to play a lot of R&B and soul. He played this in the store at the time, and I heard it, and whatever reason, I didn't grab it early on. She was married, she had been married to Miles Davis. That's where the Davis comes from. And she's the one that really brought that funky rockin' style to Miles. Said, hey, you need to go see Jimi Hendrix. You need to listen to Jimi Hendrix and all these rock bands and Santana, and up your game and get out of the suits, funk up a little bit. And of course we know about Bitches Brew and the periods after that, and then the black African wear that Miles Davis would get into at the time. So this whole series is incredible. It is down and dirty, and a lot of women weren't singing about this maybe until the punk stuff of sexuality and just literally sexual nastiness. This is the record. This is a fantastic record. The Light in the Attic versions have a book and with whole essays on it. They really get into it, and these were done with cooperation of Betty Davis at the time, and we lost her several years ago, but a great series of records, anyone, but this is particularly good. This is recorded in 1975. I'm not sure what month it was released in the year, but again, it kind of was a failure commercially, and it has a rebirth in the last, since this reissue and since other artists have found it and included it in videos like this and on DJs and playlists and things. So Betty Davis, 5 by the Lake. Thank you for watching. It's such a beautiful day today with these clouds. Aren't those clouds great? Not sunny. You hear the airplane in the distance? I do. Take care. Mazzy loves you.